Hello to all table tennis enthusiasts. Today, I will work for long pips players. I will talk about a simple, effective, and useful combination for players using long pips without a sponge or with a thin sponge. What is this combination about? Long pips are typically placed on the left side, on the backhand. However, they can be used on the right side in certain situations. For example, when a powerful topspin with a lot of spin comes to the right, you can twiddle the racket and chop it with long pips. Not with an inverted rubber, but with the long pips. In which situations can this be useful, and where will you get the most benefit? This can be useful if you haven't developed the chopping technique with inverted rubber on the forehand. This situation can happen even with strong amateur players. Maybe a player only learned to chop with the left side, or switched to defense from attack and hasn't yet developed the chopping skill with inverted rubber on the forehand, but has mastered it on the backhand with long pips. It's easier to chop with long pips against a topspin than with inverted rubber, especially if the inverted rubber is thick and fast, which is often the case. By the way, while we create interesting and useful videos and reviews for you, be sure to visit our TT Maximum store more often for your purchases. It will be the best way for you to thank us for our videos. In such situations, can you twiddle the racket and chop with long pips on the forehand? This option is just to increase your game's efficiency and reduce the number of errors when the inverted rubber chopping technique on the right side is still underdeveloped. But even if you are able to chop with inverted rubber on the right, from a tactical perspective, it's beneficial to use both inverted rubber and long pips for chopping. There are several situations where twiddling the racket and playing with pips on the right is simply tactically more advantageous. It's easier to win a point that way than by chopping with inverted rubber. For example, if your opponent is confidently continuing their attack on your inverted rubber, and if I alternate between chopping with inverted rubber and long pips while they make a series of topspins to the right, it will be more difficult for them, because they will have to deal with different balls. Although these may seem like the same topspins and chops to the right, the balls will behave differently depending on whether they are chopped with inverted rubber or long pips. After a chop with long pips, the ball follows a different trajectory. The spin is also different and the bounce off the table is different. The characteristics of the rubbers differ significantly, so the properties of the balls from the chops will also vary. Also, it's possible that you chop weaker with inverted rubber than with long pips. So, with long pips, you may send a nasty low heavy spin ball that your opponent will enthusiastically self-destruct on. In general, if your opponent is confidently attacking with inverted rubber, they will feel much less comfortable continuing a series of attacks if you alternate between inverted rubber and long pips in your defense. Another tactical situation arises when your opponent isn't so skilled or confident in continuing their attack but still wants to proceed. They make the first good topspin to the right, and you see they are going to continue the attack. The player is focused on attacking but lacks a bit of technique. If you give them a heavy spin and low ball with long pips to the right, they will continue their attack but immediately finish it in the net. This is a very common situation, especially if people aren't used to such a combination. Many attackers are emotionally set on continuing their attack. They don't know what chopping is. They only proudly know what a topspin is. So, they make the first topspin and want to continue hitting, trying to finish the opponent off with a victorious attack. You execute a heavy chop on their first attack, but they lack the technique to confidently return the ball to the table, and his navel is untied. It is one of the main combinations for a defender when playing with young developing attackers. Since they vigorously and triumphantly move to the goal, and they are not at all stopped by the risk of some kind of boring chop by pips on the right. By the way, while I'm helping you gain confidence, please hit the like button and subscribe. Likes won't click themselves. Next, another reason to use a long pips chop on the forehand against a powerful topspin is if you have enough technique, and the ball is comfortable for you to choose where to place it, rather than just returning it to the table. When a topspin comes to the right diagonally, you can launch the chop to the left corner. It's not only difficult to continue the attack from there, it's even hard to return the chop to the table. It's very hard to return a ball that comes from the right diagonally to the left corner. Which long pips are suitable for this? Don't choose long pips that generally don't work well in defense. There aren't many such pips, but some work well at the table and are ineffective in defense. These should be avoided. Otherwise, many long pips without a sponge or with a thin sponge work very well for this combination. It's mostly a matter of personal preference, which pips feel more comfortable to you. That's all for now. If you have any questions on this topic, feel free to ask them in the comments under the video.